Welcome back to the Heal Hot Girl podcast. This is episode 9. I'm LB.
I'm Samantha.
I am Jess, your wellness bestie.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
We're happy to be here.
We are.
Episode 9 is nuts.
Major.
It is 9. I mean, it is crazy that we're all the way at 9. Like,
It went so fast.
a year ago, this wasn't a thing.
No.
And now...
I mean, it was a thing.
It was, but it wasn't.
But it had not come to fruition.
Yeah.
We had the idea. Did we? Yes, we did. But yeah, the fact that we almost already have 10 under our belt is
crazy.
amazing.
It's so special, so exciting.
How are my girls today? How
For
are you
sure.
guys?
Feeling
Good.
Everyone's happy?
You know, last week, I feel renewed. Feel a little lighter, rejuvenated, super busy. I mean, work was crazy, very crazy. I think with me, my work can like vary as far as just the intensity of how that week's gonna be. And like last week, it was just kind of holidays, Memorial Day weekend. So that felt a little bit overwhelming because I'm like, man, what brings me joy is doing things for the pod. And that joy had to be put on pause. And I didn't like that, you know. I had to shift that. And I really was like, man. And it was so crazy because I realized that even when I was making social cuts, I was trying to make social cuts and it wasn't hitting. Like the clips, what I was seeing just wasn't it. And I realized when I took that second look, I'm like, what are you talking about? These are great cuts. You know, so I'm okay. As far as like the work side, you know, I feel good.
You stepped into a new role recently.
Yes.
Are you feeling the change? And Jessie got a promotion.
We did, you know.
Shout out to her. So how's the transition been?
No, transition's been good. I feel that not much has changed just yet, except that now I have a direct report at my current company, and so that's like really nice. Yeah. I like delegated one thing for the first time, and I was like, oh, this is just wonderful.
Love being a boss.
Literally just one thing, and I'm like, oh, you know, like just please. And I realized that, you know, part of that. No, so to answer your question,
is it weird? Like, do you feel like weird? Was it weird having somebody to like kind of delegate things to or like ask to do things?
A little bit, but I'm also like, man, like I just want to be that manager, or that like person for somebody, like that big sis manager. The way that like my first experience with like Cindy was.
Yes,
you know what Cindy. I mean? Who was like, what is it that you want? Tell me and let me help. And I feel like that's just really, it's now the space where like I can actually, you know, implement that and hope to develop. So it was cool. Like we have weekly one-on-ones, you know, check-ins, like how you do status, what's going on this week, let me know. So I don't know. Now I feel like, okay, I got someone to kind of like gear, but also make sure that I'm not just putting my shit on her, which would never, but just saying. So that's that. I got baptized.
I
was gonna ask. You know, Jessie did something.
She's very private. She was very private about it, so I didn't want to be the one to bring it up. I was like, if she wants to talk about it,
no, I wanted to bring it up. I really did. So, because I got some questions. Like, what inspired you to decide to get baptized again?
I had it planned. Like I had the thought of it, of at some point I would like to get baptized, but I always felt like I needed to go to like Sunday school for like a period of time. Like what does it look like to get rebaptized? Do I need is it about me going to church every single Sunday? Like what's the prerequisite? You know what I literally, no, seriously, is there a prerequisite for this? What does this mean? And I feel like it was so crazy. I got the notification. My church will send notes of like, oh, water baptism in May. And this was back in February. And like I said it, but I had shared it. I shared it with my friend Dom. I had shared it with LB. And I'm like, again, prerequisites. Maybe I'm not ready to get baptized. Like I haven't been to Sunday school. You know, like
what do I have
what
to do,
does that
Lord?
mean?
What does it mean to? How do we get saved?
Yes.
Yeah, how do we? And really, just disclaimer: like water baptism is just more so a formal declaration to the world, right? That whoever's present or whoever you choose to share that invitation with, that you are like declaring your life to Christ, and you know, and choosing to follow what that looks like. So yes, it's not about like your sins get washed away. No, my sins is pre-baptism, making the acknowledgement that that's what I want to do and repenting to God specifically is what forgives you of your sins, not the actual like dip of the water. But anyway, what took me, I had the thought about it, just didn't know necessarily how to approach it. Come February, I got a note from my church and automated text message, sign up. And I was like, well, this is the sign. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I don't need any kind of formality about it. And so, yeah, I like ended up signing up for it. And next thing you know, the months just started going by quick. And I'm like, yo, I'm getting baptized. Oh my God, wait. Now it's like, okay, no, now it's like, it's happening next week. So yeah, leading up to it, I had to write a testimony.
Was that hard? How did you feel about writing a testimony?
So hard. Yeah, in my testimony, I only shared that with a handful of folks, but in my testimony, I shared, it really took 3 days. And it took 3 days because journaling is one thing, but like to really sit down and to reflect and to think about like all the things that like God has been working like on me throughout my time. It's like, how do you put that in one page, you know, or like it's going to take much more a church service for me to be like, wow, like God really has impacted my life in so many different, angles. So it definitely took a lot. It was 3 days of like, every time I had to just condense, and I really wanted to just reflect on the last 2 years. Cause like I've been sharing with the pod, that has been the most pivotal, life-changing, years for me. And so when I was thinking about the last two, that was just a lot. Like literally I would start writing, I'm not kidding, like 4 sentences in, shit ton of tears. I'm like, I can't do this. This is too much.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's
you're
go.
really just like looking back on like all of the trial, like, you know what I mean? Everything that kind of led you up to this point, which I'm sure can be so emotional when you think about everything as like a whole.
And even just coming from a space of gratitude, I think that was really it. Like I'm here, and I'm here to like even reflect on all of this and still say and feel like, man, thank you. Throughout all of that, there's so much gratitude throughout every single like pain. I'm like pain, grief, joy. We had to go through it, but like, thank you, you know? So, okay.
Yes.
Holy Spirit.
Yes. Holy Spirit, activate.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So it was a lot. It was the first time that I had to like sit down with myself and forcefully, because I owed it to the church. I got a text message like, excuse me, its testimony is due. And I was like, oh my God, ma'am, I promise I will send it to you.
Ma'am.
I was like, Wednesday, 2 p.m. Literally Wednesday came, I submitted my testimony. Fast forward, because I got to get a little lighter to this. It's Sunday. It's time for me to get baptized. And so I submitted when I went to go submit my testimony, it said that there was a 600 character limit. Hold on.
600 characters is like 3
600
sentences.
characters is nothing.
I did 600 characters. You want me to say how God changed my
in
life
600
in 600
characters. That's
Since when does he give me a limit? God doesn't give
God
a
is
limit.
limitless, I thought.
Literally.
God is limitless. I'm sending you this whole testimony.
I was writing my testimony on Word. Like I didn't even know there was a character limit. I just went to Word. Anyway, so I had to email it. I attached the PDF. I was like, "Hello, Miss Sweeting. Here it is." Like it's saying I have a character
all
limit.
these words, ma'am.
But y'all are getting this testimony. So anyway, Sunday comes. It's literally like graduation day, kind of, sort of like the setup. I didn't know necessarily what to expect, but they have you in a room or whatnot, kind of like sitting in order of in which you're going to be baptized, and by alphabetical order, I assume. Anyway, she hands me a piece of paper and she's like, "Oh, Jess, if you can write 2 to 3 sentences on how the Lord has changed your life." And I said, I submitted my testimony.
I submitted my short story.
Literally, are you kidding? And I show her, I'm like, no, I attached it. She was like, well, maybe you can like summarize. I was like, summarize? I spent 3 days of tears. Like, tears.
No, I can't summarize. I need all of this.
All of this. So by default, I wasn't able to like read my entire testimony. I had started writing some shit down, and I was like, you know what, I just can't. So I like when it was to my turn, I was more apprehensive leading up to, because it's really nice warm water, let me tell you.
Yeah, I saw you.
That was going to be one of my biggest questions.
Your nose was ready to be plugged the whole time.
They told you, they like, close your nose, whatever. But I was getting a little bit nervous, like, okay, this is your time to run. And I'm like, girl, you running from the Lord like this? You can't run. you
literally can't run from God.
You can't run.
It doesn't. You cannot do it.
Yeah, it was time. I think for me, the hardest part, well, what I was most nervous about was reading my testimony and like being that vulnerable, right? One thing that I had shared in my testimony was just more so like God sees you in your purest form. There's no masking with him at all. And so to now have to share that with people in the church, fine, by all means, but it just publicly just made me a little bit more nervous about the whole situation. But all that to say, I ended up speaking from the heart, had the strength, the courage to express what I needed to express and declare that day. And yeah, they dipped me renewed life.
Amen.
I love that.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I was gonna say, how have you been feeling since then?
Yeah. The day of, I felt like lighter because it was just more so, and I don't know, just energetically. I can't say it's because of that, but I know that it was something that I was so nervous and worked up about that it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, what I had been planning and preparing myself for happened. Now it's like, all right. And my mom came, my dad came, which was really nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And he had said he enjoyed the service,
Your dad?
which is big.
Aww.
Yeah, which was like super dope because again, I'm like, God finds his way, and he came alone. And Adrian came, and yeah, it was good. How I feel okay. Like nothing changes in a sense. I feel just to some degree like a new responsibility, you know, just within myself,
your faith journey,
and my faith journey, and like my relationship with God, and actively pursuing that. And even the other day, I told the white line, I was like, damn it, I really don't want, like, it was like a fresh start. Like, I don't want to lie.
No, I mean, we're human.
No,
you're only human, sweetie.
For sure, but just more
more intentional.
And just mindful of certain things. So, all good.
Yeah.
I'm still a hot girl.
I love that.
A renewed hot girl.
A renewed hot girl.
Yeah.
Jesus loves
Declaring
the
her
hot girls.
faith.
Are you kidding me? God loves the hot girls.
Yeah.
This is God sent. The reason that we're in your ears right
Hello.
now.
All of this is this is all a testimony, to be honest, like I said before. But for me, school is almost out. Hello, people. We have 19 days of school left. Not that we're counting. Every day one of my kids comes in and we change the number. So that's where I'm at. It's been busy. End of year, planning pizza parties. So yeah.
Wait, hold on. Publicly. You're a champion. Can we talk about it?
Oh yeah.
Wait, that was so dope.
Listen, my mom, yesterday we were at dinner and my mom, and I'm like, I love you so much. I love you too, because you guys are acting like I was on the front of the New York Times. And I was really just featured in my elementary school newspaper, but like everyone is acting like I literally made the fucking front of Cosmo. So like I love all of you for hyping me up for making the elementary school.
Yes, because that was so.
It's a big deal though, because like you said, in your last job, not only were you unappreciated,
pretty much all of them,
but in the career,
career
what comes as a social worker,
and like it is a thankless job, and like so for someone to thank you, but also like seeing the impact that you have on the kids. Not that we haven't known that, but like to see that picture, like that was, it's so wholesome, like it's so sweet, and like like for you to be in a job where people appreciate you, like you hated even your last job, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
my last job, I told you guys, my last day, I was in a meeting with all of admin and nobody said anything to me. Yeah, like never didn't acknowledge that it was my last, like, I'm sorry, acknowledge it was my last day, but more so from a place of like, just like indifference than any sort of gratitude, any sort of like, not even like a thank you, a good job, like literally nothing. They were just, I think they were pissed I was leaving, probably, obviously. But it was just crazy because I had been at a lot of my coworkers in that job were awesome at the school. Admin, not so much, but the teachers were great. And I remember that summer being at one of our coworkers' birthday parties, and they came over to myself and one of my coworkers, and they were just like, we've seen such a difference in our kids since you started working with them and things like that. So I knew from like that point or from that perspective that I was making a difference or that my work was actually helpful. So it was just crazy to come from like the leaders of the school to like not even say anything. And same with the agency I was working for. It was just all about numbers. It was all about what I wasn't doing, not what I was doing, even though they like didn't set me up for success. All they cared about was how much money I was making them, how many billable hours I was doing, how many counseling hours I was doing. So anyway, I'm just so grateful to be in a place. It's still hard work. It is still hard work, but I will say, like, I'll get emotional talking about my kids because, like, they're just really, like, I could be in, which I am most mornings. So I'm just not a morning person. And I have a 45-minute commute in DC traffic every morning. And some mornings I'm just like, fuck. Like, before I walk out the door, I'm like, I just know what it takes me to get there is like, damn. But when I get there, the minute I walk in that door, like, get on campus and I, like, see them, it just like changes. Or like I have to do I work with first, like a lot, like I've said before, I do a lot of morning meetings with first graders, and they are just like the best thing. So it just, I will miss them this summer. It is a much needed break for all educators, for everyone that work with kids, because I saw someone posted something that a school put on the front lawn that said, "Parents, tag your it."
Oh yes, I did see that on Twitter.
And I was like, nothing could be more true. Like,
then for sure.
Yes, but it's great. I think I used to kind of like think like summer break maybe wasn't necessary, but after working with the kids, I'm like, they need a break too. Like, they need to go home, spend time with their families, like not have that.
Yes, even therapy break.
Yes, like we all, like, it's a break. And that's what it is. A lot of my kids were going to be dropping down to either monthly, or we just, they'll discharge them for the summer and then see how they're doing and see if they can apply a lot of the skills that they've learned this year. And if they need to come back to me, they all want to come back to me, but unfortunately that's just not the way it works. There has to be like a reason. But anyway, I'm excited to wrap up this school year. It was finally, I feel like I'm finding a little bit of a niche in DC, which has really been, I've only really had I've been in my career since I was 21. I graduated undergrad and I got a job within 4 months of graduating. I've been working full time in the field. I worked full time going to grad school. I've been working full time this whole time. And so prior to that, I only had 2 jobs. So for me to have 3 jobs since I've been in DC in 2 years is like nuts. So I'm just really grateful to like.
For sure.
Have you been thanked by any of your other jobs that you can remember in the past?
No. When I left CPS, they said, good, she can go. Yeah, because they didn't like, I mean, they do a lot of things there that I think are fucked up, and I'm just really not the one to like be quiet. So when they found out a lot of it though, like one of my friends that, because I'm still friends with a handful of people from CPS. I love that job. CPS it's a really hard job, but it more so was hard because of the administration. It wasn't because of the coworkers or the actual work. And so one of my friends that I still keep in touch with from there, who's like a big supporter of the pod, he's been telling people in the office, and he was like, "You got some haters."
Not haters.
Not CPS haters. Are you kidding?
But I think it's like me hater. Like they're mad that like I got up out of there and like I'm doing other things.
I'm really happy that you're on the therapy side and like in the school setting, and really for that, because I feel like in order to know how to even like further branch out of it, because it doesn't end. Your story doesn't end.
No,
here,
I don't want to really.
But the impact, you're able to kind of see that duality, that exchange. You're being thanked for, but also at the same time, you're able to identify the gaps within the educational system. You've seen it outside of it, where CPS, like, there's an issue I need you to address, but now you're really building these relationships with these kids and administration that you can holistically. What's the bigger problem? Create some kind of game. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. And like, one thing I will say is like, our kids are in crisis. And I think that's just something that I just need to put out there, that a lot of people, it's very easy to be removed from, if you don't have kids, or if even you do, or you're busy. Coming out of the pandemic, we're seeing so many kids that struggle with social skills, coping skills, mental health. I mean, it's not just the parents that are struggling, it's the kids too. So that I just want to kind of just put that caveat in there.
Cassie told me when I was getting my makeup done that there was an 11-year-old that committed suicide in Buffalo recently because of bullying. So yeah,
and I know I have an old coworker that I used to work with. Same, like, we can do a whole episode on it sometime. I think we should. I would love to have one in my old grad school. He just opened a private practice in Orchard Park. I would love to have him on to just talk about some of the things with mental health. But yes, bullying is real. Kids are really struggling with just managing their feelings, understanding their feelings. Frustration tolerance is very low. And also some of it comes with just our society right now. Everything for kids is like, they get it right. They're instant gratification. They're used to playing these games. They get everything. Everything's right in the palm of their hands. And when even if something takes a minute to load, they're getting frustrated. I mean, there's just so many layers to it. So I feel like this was just my path to go right now, was to help these kids right now in the school setting. I did my thing in the homes, but I'm seeing, it's interesting because when you're doing CPS, you're mostly working with the safety in the homes. But you're seeing kind of what's going on and how it's manifesting. But from the school side, like you see, it's hard to explain, but basically like when I'm a therapist, I already have that insight from like home life and how that can impact your behavior at school. So it's almost like full circle, because I know a lot of these kids are just not getting their basic needs met. And so, yeah.
Well, we
are
so happy to see you on the Champions page, being recognized. Because one of the things I was going to say is, I think going from jobs where it was like thankless, right? Where things were just expected of you. And of course, every job expects things of you. They're paying you. But being thanked for doing your job is a wild thing. You know what I mean? When someone actually appreciates you for doing your job after so long of going and being unappreciated, you're almost like, are you fucking with me right now? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, are you lying to me?
Yeah.
When I first started working for myself, and I wouldn't say like, my old company had other ways of compensating me. They did it in my pockets, and I love them for that.
Yeah.
But there was rarely ever like a thank you, did a good job. It was like, what can we do better next time? Every single time. And I'm a learner, so I adapted. Like, I'm good with that. But eventually, when my mental health took a dip, it's like that was really rough on me too. Yeah. And I remember when I first started working for myself, all of my clients, like, I was like, fuck, they're going to fire me. Everyone's going to fire me. And, like, I would get a call. The client is like, hey, do you have a few minutes? And in my head, I'm like, they're calling to tell me that I've been doing a shit job and they're going to fire me. And literally, they're like, you've been doing so great. Things are going so well. How do you think it's going? I'm like, I think it's going how you think it's going. But I was
tell me.
But I remember telling my therapist, like, how I felt like it was like, I was like, they're just all just trying to, like, fluff me up to keep me around. She goes, what reason do people that work with you have to just boost your confidence? Like, not who do you think you are, but like, what reason, what rationale?
Everyone's here doing their job. Why would they need to?
You think they just, because they like you so much, they're just saying this to flatter you? And I was like, like, it really made me think. But I remember being in that mindset. I was like, they don't really, they're just saying this to be nice. And she was like, everyone's saying it to be nice? Like, I don't think so. Like, maybe they think you're doing a good job. And I was like, oh.
Just take that.
Oh. Yeah, it's hard.
But it's hard too.
When you come from that environment, you're like, yeah, I didn't do anything but my job. But, like, it's nice to be thanked.
For sure.
For your job.
It made me really happy to see, honestly. Yeah. It was like the New York Times for me. Yeah. Sam, too. Like, we were like, oh, it's the news, okay, of the day.
It's
like,
a
hello.
Big deal.
I'm sorry, people. Deal. But just some insight. What happened is that Alyssa's school, they released
it's like a newsletter.
A
weekly
newsletter,
yeah.
And she was featured on it as a champion for a student. And what did it mean to be a champion? More so like what was it?
It's like support, just like being there for them, really. Yeah. Just like.
And just, I think the student had ended up sharing something or like a one-liner, but just basically like impact. And they can see the impact made since, Alyssa and him have been working together. So it was so cute. They looked so cute on the front cover.
They did. Like, you guys did. It was very cute and wholesome.
Thank you. Thank you. No, it felt good. It was good. And I will say that's the thing too. The administration is just like, they're just great. And they just make me feel so, like, my supervisor, we had a meeting last week, and my school is not having summer school, so I have to go to another one of our agency schools to work summer school. And my supervisor started off with, Alyssa's not going to be here. And he was like, wait a minute. He didn't even let her finish her sentence. He was like, what do you mean she's not going to be here? He was like, don't even play with me like that. Like, what are you talking about? And she was like, no, for the summer. He was like, oh, okay, continue. Like, so it just, and I say that too for people that, because I've had conversations with people that are business owners, and I'm like, small things go such a long way for your employees. Like, it's almost, some of it is just humanity. You know, like, I think even us as people, sometimes, like, it's okay to, like, tell our friends, like, we love you, like, this was awesome that you did. I think complimenting people shouldn't, it can be in any setting. Like, I think we have to sometimes remember that our friends are our biggest fans, or we should be our friends' biggest fans, and like, it takes nothing to just acknowledge someone and the work that they do, because you never know how much it can mean to them.
Sam, what is that? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, too, I think we've acknowledged you for so long.
Sure.
So
Always.
to see someone else acknowledge you for the shit that you did, that's meaningful, I think.
And it's true, because you guys also see it from the back end. Like, you've seen like how much, like, social work, yes, you get paid for it, but you can't do the job if you don't care. Like, it just doesn't work. Your job is to care about people, unfortunately. So if you don't have that, there's no point in doing the work, because you're literally doing everything for another person. And I understand that. I knew that coming into that. So you guys, I do little things that no one ever knows about for some of my kids and my families, because I see it and I just do it. But you guys have always seen it from, like, the back end. And so I appreciate that. That's really what's kept it going for me, because I'm like, I know what I do. My friends know what I do. What everyone else thinks, like, they can kiss my ass. You know what I mean? My families know. My kids know. My friends know. And, like, admin, they always know. They're salty.
Sam, from a business owner, right now it's different in the sense where, like, your clients have to say, like, thank you. They see the good work to some degree. But how has that shifted? Because how has the idea of, you know, being told or reminded you're doing good work as a business owner now, obviously it translates to the more projects you're on and whatnot, but do you feel that clients do extend that thank you or those gentle reminders of, like, the partnership that you guys have built?
All the time. I think the number one way my clients can say thank you is by sending me new business. And they do. And that's the thing, too. I think the other thing I see,
it's a different kind,
which is even more than a thank you, is, like, they don't want to stop working with me. And, like, I'm only one person. I only have so much capacity. And so, like, that's been really nice, too. But it did take a while for me to, like, learn to just accept the compliments as they came in. And also, like, because I know I'm, like, there's things I'm not cocky about. My work, I am, because I know what I do. You know what I mean? I know what I make happen. And so, like, the results always speak for themselves. But, yeah, my clients are really good, just, like, really wholesome, good people. And they always take opportunities to tell me, like, what a great job I did. Or not even to me. I think they go out of their way to praise me in front of other people, so other people know.
That's dope.
Like, who I am and how I work. And so, yeah, like, it's a
different form of a thank you.
Very different, right? They're saying thank you in my pocket.
This isn't a year. This isn't a yearly review. You're not here. That's neat. Okay. Well, how are you though?
I'm doing well. I don't have any complaints. I'm getting ready to move soon, so big transition. I think one of my big focuses for this sort of season is stacking money and making, like, building real wealth. Because I think one of the things for me that's been really important, like, not only, I mentioned a few podcasts ago, like, God reached me through my finances, but I think for me, building generational wealth is so powerful, and it's such a, like, focus for me, because my family did come from poverty. So, like, having something to hand down to my children, and, like, also, or even just, like, being able to give my kids the experience where I do pay for their college and I do pay for their housing, and my kids don't have to work full time to go to school. And, like, you know, not that my mom didn't, she did obviously, like, we're not talking about my mom here, but like, I do want, I think the point is to make it a little bit better for each generation, right? Like, 100%. My mom did the hard work of, like, of putting in the hours that she did so that I could have that life and the opportunities that I have now. And now it's my job to, like, for me, like, get myself completely out of debt. Like, I want to be 100% debt free. Like, no car loans, no house, like maybe a mortgage. That's it. No car loans, like nothing, not a credit card, nothing. But then also, like, not just being debt free, but actually building wealth. Like, what does that look like to have an estate? So, like, that's my focus now. That's why I'm downsizing a little bit. So if y'all start hearing me talk about budget and Dave Ramsey, I'm sorry.
She's back on the Dave Ramsey.
I'm sorry, but it works, okay? It just works. Like, but the thing about your money is if you don't learn to manage it, no matter how much money you make, you're going to have the same money problems, right? Because I've experienced that already. I was making double what I made here in Buffalo when I moved to Nashville, and all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, my tenant didn't want to pay me rent, and I was like, I started to feel it in my pockets, and the reason was because I wasn't managing my money, so my money was managing me. So yeah, that's a big focus for me right now.
I love that. I'm excited for that Ramsey talk because I feel like that part of that is like the journey that I'm on too in these next couple of months. Buckle down.
Yeah.
But when you say even just the idea of building a generational wealth, like even though I was afforded certain opportunities like college, being paid for, etc. My mom keeps raising the bar, and I'm like, hold on, I'm getting older, and I'm like, Ma, because I want, if this is this bar that you set for me, what am I gonna do?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. What am I about to showcase to these kids? Because I'm looking at you like, damn, superstar,
right?
Shit,
your mom is setting a high bar.
And so for me, it's also important to be able to do that. It's like even though you experience it, how are you gonna maintain that and also showcase that?
Give your children that
and
life
give it that extra boost.
Yeah.
What's gonna be different? She's giving you a blueprint, but what are you about? To change that piece. So like you mentioned that, I'm like, shit. What? Listen, okay. The years is ticking, and I'm like, fuck.
I know. Adulthood is all a scam, though. Well, I mean, it's not because we have real life things we have to do. But like I'm telling you, if you would have told me, like I said, I would have been sitting here at this age, and I was like, I was talking to one of my high school friends, and she's about to interview with one of our teachers. She's a teacher. He's now moved on to admin. He's a principal. So she's interviewing at the school that he's the principal at now. And now I'm like, it's so wild to think that in hindsight, they were either our age or younger when they were our teachers. And I'm like, it's just like such a, like, when you're in high school, they feel like so old and mature. And like, now that I'm like probably around the age they were when they were my teacher, I'm just like, crazy. Oh, this is all a scam. This is they were probably out getting drunk the night before they came in. You know, there's just, maybe literally not. I don't want to like slander my teachers like that, but it's just like, it's just you see it come full circle, and it's just so interesting because I'm like, now look at us. We're the professionals. Now you're interviewing as a former student with one of your teachers, but she's really good at her job. She's awesome at her job. And so, yeah, it's been like adulting is like really just an interesting concept.
And just like each chapter, like having to reflect through each chapter, literally, it's like new shifts. You're at the point where you're like, every single decision matters. It's we're long term here, like everything that I've needed to kind of thus far to prepare me for this next piece of my life has already happened. You're in this chapter now where like, again, now we're shifting. Abundance.
Yeah, no, it's not about like just
but
surviving
with abundance
anymore.
Is responsibility.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And to whom much is given, it's like you want more. You want more. And to your point, like with wanting more, there's just also you gotta make new changes. You can't have your old life and your new life in every single piece. Every like time that we get to the space that we want to be in, it also comes with letting go and making adjustments of some of the things that absolutely. Yeah. So
and that can be like a little bit not a little bit, it is stressful. And it's like, I feel like for a long time, it's just like a transition. I don't know. I just feel like we're in this like transitionary part of life right now where we just are thinking about the future for real. Not just like the here and now. I feel like for a long time, I was just like living in the moment kind of person, which I still am because life is a gift and you just never know what can happen. You never know when things or people can be taken from you. So I still think it's very important to practice mindfulness, which is making sure sometimes you need to ground yourself in the moment or appreciate what's happening to you in the moment. However, there is an element of life that we do have to plan for.
Sure.
And I think as I'm getting older too, I'm getting to this point where, like we said, I was afforded things. My parents definitely, like I still have student loans, love them, but like it's not like I came out of school completely scot-free. They definitely helped me and they definitely supported me through it, but I still came out of school with loans. But now that I'm getting older, but I was very grateful. I mean, I was very lucky. So as I'm like thinking about, you know, as you're getting older and having kids and like having other people, you're responsible for other people or potentially will be responsible for other people financially for their because let's be real, I'm in my mid-30s. My parents are still my parents. Like you're never not a parent. So once that happens, it's like I'm thinking about it and I'm like, damn, like I'm not even like a whole human, like one person that's like mine, and I have to like provide for them, not because some people look at it until 18, but it's really not. No, it's not until there's no age, like. And so anyway, I'm fucking weirding myself out with this conversation right now, to be honest. Facts. But like it is, you're just thinking about the future and it's like how do I want to live 10 years from now? Like everything I do now is matters. Really, it matters. It's not like being 21 anymore really where you can just change like this you is blink a really and we're 35. Absolutely. Like shit matters. Everything matters. Yeah. Job changes matter. And that's really where I'm at, is like, especially with social work, which is one thing that I wasn't necessarily privy to. Social work is not you can't get a bachelor's degree in social work and think you're going to make money. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Like I've been to grad school. I have one license now. I got to DC and I was like, well, shit, I need another one. And so it's all just like, there's pieces that have to come together for me. It's not as easy as just getting a degree and doing a job. And I don't think I was necessarily like prepared for that piece of it. Right. But we're here and God's going to make it happen. And I'll be a licensed clinical independent social worker by this summer. But it's just being more intentional about that. Like I've skated kind of through it and now I'm like, okay, bitch, like you need to get this license. We need to figure out what we're going to do because my world will open so much more with that. But it's just, I'm like mid-30s is hitting and I'm like, oh my God. Like, they say it's like you're only as old as you feel, but I'm like, okay, no, but I'm still this age and I still need to like figure it out. 18. Yeah, I feel 18, but like I'm not 18, right. You know.
And so, I will say for the younger listeners, like the time moves fast,
so fast.
Okay, so fast, and so like we're also in in the era where like so much information is being put out there for us to be able to advance and like get ahead of certain things. Definitely. Everyone's journey is their own journey, but like if there's a certain area in your life that you can make a little update on, do it now. Build those habits now so that you can set yourself up even better for when that time comes. Whether it's money management, even if it's just one area there, whether it's exposing yourself to, you know, different types of careers, just like this is the time. Do everything that your heart desires. Take those risks. But like also take a look and at yourself and what it is that you've been doing thus far and reevaluate, pivot as needed.
I'm telling you, that podcast or like that book, it just smacked me right in the forehead. It said, show me your schedule and I'll tell you what you love. Yeah. And I was like, wow.
I'm telling you, every podcast I get hit in the forehead with something, and that was one of those too. I'm like, well, shit.
Yeah. Right. When you think, you're like, damn.
Yeah. But also I think the thing to remind ourselves too is to have grace with yourself too. And I think especially with social media now, you see everyone's highlight reel. You see everyone's accomplishments. You don't see all the shit that it took to get there. You don't see even what it really is. You know what I mean? Like you, at the end of the day, we all put what we want people to see on social media. And I think that that's really important to remember is don't try to compare yourself or your journey or everything. Like everyone's journey is what it is. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Whatever is meant for you will be yours. And I think, and also just have grace with yourself throughout the journey. And I think, especially people like me, I'm really hard on myself. I think we're all really hard on ourselves. Yeah. And I think we all expect the best out of ourselves, but it's okay. Yeah. Like take a breath. There's always change. There's always work that's going to be done. There's always work that can be done, but that doesn't always mean you have to do it in that moment. Sure. So just, I think that's another caveat. Yeah. Is just like have grace with yourself, and it's okay if you don't want to do that anymore. But be kind to yourself throughout the journey because life is really fucking hard. And
I heard something, I read it in a book, and I can't remember which book it was off the top of my head, but they said that the level of abuse that you will tolerate is the level of abuse that you create for yourself.
Agreed.
Wow.
So, right. So if you're speaking unkindly.
She said a virgin and everything. She said, whoa. I said, hold on.
But
yo, I just saw like that moment just hit her crazy. You would have thought. Yo, that was nuts.
But really, right? Like if you're speaking to yourself and saying, you know, you're so stupid, why would you whatever? Like, think about what you're gonna tolerate from someone else. Like,
Jesus. We dropped some gems on here.
This is gem factory, right? It's like you're that hard on you're just as hard on other people sometimes as you are on your, like, we're always more hard on ourselves, but we tend to expect the same from other people because, you know, so it's like
no, that's so true. That piece. Okay, all of this really hit. The expectation piece has been something that I have had to work with myself on a lot in every given relationship because who I am isn't going to be reciprocated back. And so, yeah, that one really hit me on the floor.
Should we end there? No, I'm just kidding. But like, I feel like mic drop on that one.
No, I think it's no. I'm speechless. I think that's the reality.
Yeah.
I'm speechless. This is where I say we pull a card.
That is the first time I think Jess has been speechless.
No, I've never seen it. I swear to
I got nothing to say.
She was like, what? Oh my God.
It was just another
it was organic, like her face.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, give yourself grace.
No, it is. And that's one thing, especially with my kids I talk to. Self-talk is so important. Like, positive self-talk is like...
We don't even realize it.
We don't. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing I see a lot with my kids. I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. I should have done this. I should have done that. I'm like, nobody gets everything right the first time.
Yeah.
You know? And just the way that you talk to yourself, I'm like, just be mindful.
For sure.
Because you don't even realize the script that you're in until you're in it for so long. And it's hard to change it. But that's why I say just pay attention to the way you're speaking to yourself. Give yourself grace. Pay attention to how you're making your own self feel. Yeah. Because you really have the control over that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that's 100%. I 100% agree that, like, every day is almost like a reset. You're able, you have the opportunity to, like, make your day a little bit better than the day before. Yeah. I feel like I'm in that Issa moment where I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, who's better than you? God made you. You know what I mean? Who's better than you?
I used to love to watch Issa rap at herself in the mirror. It was the best. So good.
I miss Insecure.
But to your point of that, the dialogue for me is just more so, I feel that my conversation with myself is harder when it comes to, like, that romantic side of me. That's where it's like, that is where the dialogue shifts.
What do you mean?
Just more so if I don't stick to a decision that I made with myself, you know, just in general.
Like when you wanted to throw yourself in the trash can?
Yeah, what I thought, yes, you know, any kind of relapse or or the areas of certain having to be a little bit more vulnerable or like having those like tough conversations kind of thing.
Forgiving yourself.
So, but when it comes to like day to day, now the way the energy shifted, it's like, you kidding me? You would have thought.
Y'all got me fucked up.
Literally.
Okay.
Act bad.
Hello.
It's the Act Bad summer.
Hello.
Shout out to Carisha.
Hello.
God, us quoting Young Miami.
We just want a Arisha Roulette sponsorship or something.
Seriously, please and thank you. Carisha.
But we've got a whole agenda that we haven't touched. Do we want to touch any part of it?
I mean,
gender role?
I don't know. What are we at for timing? Okay. What do you think? Should we touch the gender roles or should we just pull a card?
I think we should just pull a card.
Pull a card.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do this one.
Sometimes I feel like we go into these like I don't want to be too much of. Sometimes I don't know, man hate gender. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like, do I go off too much with my agendas? With like, I'm trying to put.
Okay, I'm not doing that. Also, you got yelled at for it, so. Yeah. As I was doing, I said, "This is wrong. This is wrong."
She's about to be looking at you on the side of her
I know.
eye because that's what she does to me. She's like, my cards. I'm like, oh, okay.
Let's see. We did this one. What do I want to stop apologizing for? Did we do this one? What did I give too much energy a year ago that I can laugh at now?
We did that.
I think Lindsay
pulled it, right?
Yeah.
We did that one. Dang. Ooh. This is a good one. I don't know if we've done this one yet. What does self-love mean to me?
Every time Sam says, ew.
What does self-love mean to me, and what does it not mean to me? And it says, get specific.
Oh, what does self-love mean to me?
Look at me. I'm like,
okay.
You go first.
What does it mean and what does it not mean?
I'm going first on this one.
Self-love.
You said you a bad bitch. Go ahead. Tell us how you do that self-love.
The baddest bitch.
The baddest.
She said Beyonce. No. I'm the Beyonce of this group. That's Leo energy. I swear to God.
Yeah, we can. First of all right, if you and your
all right, go ahead. Give us your fucking rundown on why you're Beyonce bitch, because I was about to run you over in my car. So go ahead. I
decided I was Jay-Z because ain't nobody Michelle in this group.
I was gonna say
I'm your whole man before I'm Michelle.
I'm gonna be Jay-Z. I'm gonna just sit in the back and be quiet with my money, okay?
Period.
Listen.
Hello.
Play Cater to You
our backs burn.
with two of your best friends. I'm just telling everyone to play the song Cater to You.
Oh yeah.
With two of your best friends, and see who goes for the spot. Who automatically claims Beyonce? That's all I want to know. Because the moment we play Cater to You right now.
Please tell me. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying we're hitting it.
Oh.
I'm saying take a look to see who's going for that.
You're
Beyonce.
digging yourself a deeper hole right now, I think.
All I'm saying is, if it's two, it's okay. Like, okay.
This breakdown of Beyonce is crazy. Why you gotta tell your friends why you're the Beyonce? Here we go. Go ahead.
I'm saying humorous because I don't think many people have probably paid attention to it. Who's singing the Beyonce? Who's singing her part in Cater to You? So if we're playing,
we all are. What do you mean? If you know
point.
the whole song, I know the whole song. Also, Cater to You, like, bitch, you were like 12. So, like, what are we talking about? If we want to be real, like, what are you?
It's just the one song that I know that, like, we would all sing along to.
Okay.
Anyway.
Is that your explanation?
No.
All right. I didn't know if you had anything else.
No, listen. Beyonce forever. We're gonna fight for the spot.
We're still fighting over who's Beyonce. Thank you. Clearly, we have not come to a resolution on this. I just want to point that out. Anyways,
we're all Beyonce.
I'm Jay-Z. I'm fine being Jay-Z.
Now she's backtracking people because she definitely came in with a hard stance on being Beyonce. Now she want to say everybody Beyonce.
Listen.
Oh.
Okay. Anyway.
Self-love.
Big Beyonce.
What does it mean to me?
Big Beyonce. All right, self-love.
What does it mean to me?
What does self-love mean to you, Beyonce?
And what does it not mean to me?
Okay. All of it. For me, the self-love piece really, in this, I'm going to sound redundant, but mind, body, and spirit. So, like, self-love to me is making sure that I'm giving attention to each of those pillars, just because they're just important. Your mind, as far as, like, am I stretching myself? Am I, the moments of reflection, am I being a little bit stagnant here? Am I learning something new constantly? My body, what am I doing for myself? Am I eating the right foods? Am I moving my body, nurturing that, so that I can be able to do the things that I want to do. My spirit, what's my relationship with God? Am I taking those gratitude moments? Am I meditating? Am I able to just kind of like self-reflect? Can I just sit still with myself? I think self-love just really embodies those three pillars, because for me specifically, I mean, it's what I feel that I have been able to kind of garner and further push the envelope in each of those pillars, because each chapter like has changed, but giving myself, just nurturing those areas to me, it's just self-love.
And what does it not mean to you?
Anything that goes against that. So like the moment that I'm out of whack is because I'm not giving attention equally to those things. So the moment I know that, I'm not saying the day that I don't work out, I don't love myself.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is that if I go 3 weeks without working out, I'm not giving myself the love that I need to, because that's a part. It's a full picture. You don't get to how they present the plate of like, you know, where you're supposed to eat your carbs, your protein, your fats, whatever. Like you can't just remove one piece and expect everything else to just be okay. So
notice the difference. Yeah.
What about you, Abby? What does self-love mean to you, and what does it not mean to you? And be specific.
I will say, I do think that the self-love for me is like definitely like carving out time for myself and like whatever that is just doing things for myself. And some days maybe it's taking a day off. Like maybe today's just not the day I want to go to work. Some days I do push through because most days I really don't want to go to work. But I think for me it's just creating a routine for myself, things that I enjoy. And I was speaking so heavily on the self-talk earlier because I'm focusing a lot on that and being really kind to myself and changing that narrative in my head for myself. That's why when you made that comment about how the way we talk to ourselves is the way we let other people talk to us, and I was like, that's so crazy because I've made that correlation recently. And I'm working so hard to be kind to myself. And because I'm so hard on myself. I'm the hardest on myself. And it's like if I don't, like Jess was saying about the working out thing, I've been like avidly working out. Not avidly. I'm lying.
Honestly, the body is giving avidly working out.
But honey. I really, like, I don't go to the gym every day. I've never been like an everyday gym person.
Fair, yeah.
But like I was in Orange Theory. I was doing Orange Theory consistently since I got to DC. And the last couple of months I've like taken a break and I really haven't gone to the gym a lot. I'll be 100% honest. And I'm so mean to myself about it. I'm like, bitch, get up and go to the gym. But I'm like, I just want a break. Like, I just don't want to work out right now. Yeah. And that's okay. I still am walking my dog. There's been new paths that opened up near my house. Like, I'm still getting out and like doing things. But I'm like, damn, just because you don't feel like doing something today, like you don't have to beat yourself up about it. Yeah. And so really to me, it's just like being nice to myself. That's like step one. So that's really where I'm at. I can't give you like a full on answer, but I think right now it's just like, stop being so mean to yourself. Stop letting other people be mean to you. And like, that's really where I'm at right now. It's just establishing those boundaries with myself and with other people.
Love it.
And so what it doesn't mean to you?
Going to the gym right now, I guess.
I will say funny. Though, not for nothing, like my mom is not a gym person. She moves her body. She does things, you know, to your point. Like, and I also feel, and that's not the case for you. Like, I think it's also a part of self-love is also checking in. Like, I have been doing this
shit for 2 years.
Like, you know what I mean? Do it right now. And right now I need a break. It's no different. Self-love is also saying, listen, I need a break from therapy. We've been working at it for a whole year, and I need a month to pause. You know, like that's all part of self-love. So what it isn't, it's when you're not showing up for yourself,
you're forcing yourself to do things that you don't really want to do, but you feel like you should, but it's like, why am I doing this? It's like, no, it's okay that I'm an active person. I feel like I'm feeling the itch now. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to get back into it. And I'm going back. You can only freeze an Orange Theory for 2 months. And I am eventually gonna, and that's what I did. I froze my account for the last 2 months, and you can only freeze twice a year. So I took that, and I've never really done it before. So I was like, let me just take this break. So I'm going back in June, but I decreased my package. So I have like less sessions, but I'm just going to ease back into it and kind of find more of a regiment that I want to do. Like I do want to go to the gym. I like the gym, but it's just, I just
want to when I get back to the DMV, it's a wrap.
Yeah, she's going to get me on a program because honestly I have no ass and like I can't go into 35 with no ass. I'm just going to be I've lost weight, so that's the thing. Is I've maintained. Like I weighed myself yesterday and I was like, I'm good. Like it's okay. Like bitch, you're fine. Like it's cool. Like that's what I mean. It's just the way I speak to myself.
Yeah.
Sam, you're not.
Oh, I was gonna answer.
Oh, okay.
No, I would say the same thing. I would say it's somewhat of a combination of both of your answers because I think chocolate, mind your business. Yeah, I think speaking kindly to myself and being kind to myself has been a big piece of like work for me because I also speak unkindly. So even like when I notice like I'll bump my elbow on something, I'm like, that was so stupid, and I'm like, okay. But like, can you be gentle? Like, all right, that was, and like, so now I'll be like, that was silly. I still say something like, but it's like, does it have to be stupid? Like you bumped into something or like, so but my self-talk was always really bad. And I think, so learning to give myself grace and to be kind to myself has been my work, but then also pouring into myself in ways that like, there are things that I know help keep me, right? Like yoga and therapy and meditation. And sometimes I don't do those things because my day gets so busy and those are the first things that I cut off my list. And so like when I take that time to be like, actually, I am going to.
The non-negotiable. It needs to remain
like,
the non-negotiable.
Actually, I am going to stop work right now, even though I feel like I have to do this thing. I'm going to stop and I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to stop and maybe just take a break, or I'm going to stop and just go sit outside for 15 minutes.
And
so
that's
like,
okay.
Yeah. And that's
being okay with that.
Right.
Yeah,
and like, and like, that's the work too. It's like, so then I do it and then I'm like, well, you should be working. Right. Like, so yeah, it's like, I think both the working on my self-talk, but then also making sure that I'm pouring into myself in the ways that keep me whole and like feeling like myself most often, because it's easy to like for me to scratch those things off my list and just pour into work. So making sure I have a good balance of like doing the things that I need to do for myself, and that includes like sometimes just eating. Like, did you eat today? Sometimes self-love looks like stopping work and like going to make myself breakfast because I realize I haven't ate all morning.
Cooking for yourself.
Yeah, so that's a big one. I hate cooking for myself. That's one, like, I'm trying to change the narrative.
Did you ever get your HelloFresh? Did it ever happen for you? Sam has been on a HelloFresh journey. She first, because I was doing it for a long time, so I gave her a code. The first time she ordered the box, it got sent to Buffalo, which I've done before because if you don't update your account, fine. But then she got another box, and it was very warm. So are we just out on the...
I'm just out on HelloFresh.
I understand.
Publix has similar HelloFresh meals where I can, and Publix is a grocery store, where I can get like a kit that comes with everything, and so I can make that. Cook it. So I do that. I'll buy those every once in a while, but I've realized like, and LB brought this up recently, but like I used to cook all the time. Every meal I would make for us. It was like a thing, but we were so poor that
we were.
In order to eat good, like we had to be in the kitchen cooking. Yeah. So I was in the kitchen cooking like every weekend, all the meals. Like it was an activity to cook, and now like I don't have that same energy for myself. But when someone comes over, I'm so ready to be like, are you hungry? Like, do you want anything? Yeah. But like, I don't give that. So that's part of my self-love too, is like, did you eat? Like those meal check. I'm like, did you eat today? Did you feed yourself today?
The cooking piece, definitely like living alone after a while, it's exhausting. It's so exhausting. You know, having to come, to cook every single, like when I was.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. When I was living with my partner at the time, it was nice to like not have to cook.
Yeah.
You know, it was nice to not have to think about a meal.
Yeah.
And then after a while, it's like, I'm tired. I remake the same thing. And I'm also someone that could eat the same shit every single day.
Yeah, same.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel
Pharmacy Burger in Nashville, like, I got stock in them. Like, that's how much I order there. Like, if y'all want to sponsor me, I love the chocolate shakes and turkey burgers.
I am finding, though, I have started cooking more, but also it's because I'm finding I'm kind of implementing it. Well, first of all, I like to have food to take because I commute to work the next day. It can get very pricey if you have to buy lunch every day.
Yeah.
So, and who wants to eat a frozen meal?
Also, food just tastes better
every day. So I was like, exactly. So I'm like, and it's just it's a hassle to try to leave the school if it's a busy day. Like I find sometimes like
you're not even using your break to eat at
because
that point.
The day is so anyways, I've started cook. Another reason why I started cooking more was because I needed lunch to take to work the next day. like I'm that person. My brother went on a whole spiel yesterday how he was not going to be the person taking his lunch with 16 different containers.
Okay, that was
so
funny.
He says it now though.
The fact
I think if his fiance, I think Marina made it, he would.
He definitely would. If anybody makes me a meal, I'm eating it.
That's what I mean.
Are you kidding? Please.
But that is a love language.
He's like, I'm not going to be that person.
He will be. I would like to check back on Jared in 10 years.
No, it's true.
And see if he's taking his plastic.
Once they have little Sims running around.
Yeah.
Watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jared's totally going to have all his plasticware, and I can't wait.
And those containers he was talking about.
I have one for my salad dressing. I have one for, everything's in its own thing.
She really has a lunchbox.
I have a whole lunchbox. And I honestly, for a while, I wasn't that person either. Because also with COVID, I was remote and I wasn't in the office as often. So anyways, I'm now back to, so I've started cooking more, I will say. And I stopped doing the HelloFresh because it was getting expensive. One of my promos would run out. It was like $75 for 3 meals, which to me is like The math's not mathing on that. So anyways, I have started cooking a little bit more, and I'm noticing when I start implementing it, and it's not every day. And that's another thing about being kind to yourself. I'm like, if I don't feel like cooking today, that's okay. It's fine. Trader Joe's has some amazing frozen options. Their chicken, what is it? Anyways, they have some really good options. But that's another thing that I've started to do a little bit is I'm like, I actually kind of like this. And it is to have good food. And then I have, food the next day. It's like one less thing I have to worry about. But I'm still like on the fence about cooking. Like, please don't.
I just donated my lunchbox. I was like, I'm never going into anyone's office ever again.
Not the donation of a lunchbox. I just donated.
Your cousin.
Like, I will never need a. That's so true.
No, but it's true. That's interesting to think about it that way. Yeah. It's like I'm never going to anyone's office again. What do I need a lunchbox for?
I love a lunchbox. Someone's gonna be buying me lunch if I go into their office.
That's true.
Like,
I hope I continue to stay remote. To be seriously, like that.
Because let me tell you, 5 days a week of commuting ain't for the fucking.
Getting dressed 5 days to show up somewhere. That's the hardest part.
In front of other people.
I'm grateful.
By 7:30, 8?
Well, no, I have to be to school by like 8:15.
She has to show up early, y'all.
I wake up every day.
Corporate world, you at least get until 9:30. No. Like, my girl.
But I mean, the nice part is my day is done by 3:15. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so I get in. I have to get up and get in.
No,
but my day is done by
you can see the sun.
3:15.
Yeah.
Like if I leave, sometimes I stay a little bit late. But even with my commute home, I'm home by like 4:15 most days, which really is not. It's not that bad.
That's nice.
It's really just the DC traffic that will really make you contemplate a lot of things.
Your entire life. Okay. Anyway, thank you for listening.
It's a wrap. That's amazing. Episode 9?
Yes. Wow. Crazy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I always get the episodes wrong. I don't know. So if she says it, then I believe it.
No, it is. All right. Remember to like, follow, subscribe.
And download.
Download
our episodes. Make sure you click that plus button so that you automatically download.
Give us your feedback if you have any.
Yeah. Actually, we should do something soon. I thought about this. I'm like, to have any topics people, maybe we'll ask.
Yeah.
People soon. Like, is there anything that like you guys want to talk about?
For sure.
Okay. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.